What is up, planet Earth and beyond? Welcome into another week of my Arkham Asylum mock. Today, we are going to be going through the past 2 weeks of videos. I've done them a little differently this week. I've kind of left out the speed builds for lack of time that I had this week, hoping to try something different and see if you guys prefer not having the speed builds. Let me know down in the comments. Do you guys like having the speeds builds? Do you guys prefer the video the way I did it this week? Let me know, pretty please. And while you're down there, go ahead and give that like button a smash. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the progress we made this week. Okay, so I'm trying to be creative with my dark gray pieces as I'm starting to get lower and I don't want to get any more. So what I've done is I've utilized as many large pieces as I could inside of here, as you can kind of see. And then I also started using obscure pieces that I wouldn't normally use inside of there. So I'm really trying to get creative so that I don't use all of my brick, so that I can use my bricks for the next couple of things. And I've started going through and getting the rest of my bricks out, so I know I have a gist of how much bigger I can make the second floor. So this will go on here, and that will be the second floor. I've gone ahead and started the walls for the room that I'm building here. I'm yet to decide what it's going to be yet, but I've gone ahead and started designing the walls. I originally had these 2x2 bricks here, but I've been switching them out for the 3x3 bricks so that you can get that pillar effect on both the inside and the out versus just on the one side like I had prior. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing that. So my phone needed to charge for a second, and I got a little carried ahead of myself. I've gone ahead and added the wall structure here, the third wall, that'll be the front. And then I've gone ahead and built a bunch of the tables for the cafeteria, and we'll probably do a mixture of dark gray, light gray, and dark tan for the pattern going across the floor here next. And I've gone ahead and populated and tiled off my cafeteria here. I ended up realizing that I have like 5 dark tan tiles, and so the colors ended up just being the gray and the dark bluish gray and light bluish gray, which is fine. It matches the lower levels of the cells, and so it's kind of just gives it that similar vibe. We've got a brawl going out here. It looks like the Riddler here has knocked over Bane's coffee, and he is not happy about that. We've got several guards stepping in to take care of the situation. We've got all of the different characters here with their different meals. Try to just showcase a bunch of different aspects here. I will probably get to this portion at a later point. Maybe this is supposed to be the feeding portion. Have a lunch lady there or something at some point, maybe, if I have time and the desire to do so. But as for right now, I'm just leaving that. I should have it where there's a bunch of food and stuff for them to get, but I've got other things I want to work on this week. So I feel like this just livens up the characters so much more than just having them in their jail cells did. Personally, you know, I loved the look of them all in their jail cells, but I feel like this, it screams Harley Quinn, the series vibes of just them sitting at the table discussing how they're going to break out, and some random fight going on in the background. Somebody's always getting attacked by somebody else for doing something that was irritating or whatnot. And so, I don't know, that's just kind of what the vibes that I was going for here. And hopefully we'll get to building in and filling in this front section here. I might work on the gate here. We'll see how the day goes. Okay, so I've been trying to fill in this rock face for the front of Arkham here, and I don't like this at all. I'm not really sure what started happening, but I don't like from like here over. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. I think what happened was this curve here really seems to have messed up the opportunity to kind of shape it in. And so I'm going to be tearing all this apart and redoing it. Unfortunately, I can't stand the way it looks. It almost looks like roofing on a house shingle instead of rocks. So we're going to be pulling all that apart today. Well, I might have gotten a little carried away with tearing some bricks down, but I'm going to reshape this whole thing. I think I'm just going to ixnay the driveway for right now and focus on a helipad, especially after building the bat wing. I think my focus is going to be mostly focusing on reshaping this and getting a better shape of this to head into Arkham. Okay, so I've been going back through and rebuilding all of this. I decided to take the tunnel off, set it over there. I'm gonna probably end up putting it in front of this. So that way it'll be like over here when I finish. That way this just is like a solid rock. I started going through and trying to use different pieces to give it a different shape. So that way it's not all just the 2x1 slopes, 1x2 slopes, or the 2x3 slopes. So I'm just trying to go in. I really love, I've been putting these 1x4, 1x4x1 slopes on their sides. And I'm really loving the texture breakup that gives it. I also want to start incorporating a little more of these rounded edges, but just trying to get a really cohesive build, but that has a bunch of diversity to it and just different shapes, very rock texture like. So really loving where this is going with that. So just trying to continue working on that and creating a bunch of different shapes and textures. So we interrupt this building process to show off a quick haul of future projects to come. This was the main piece that I needed in this haul, and I went ahead and picked up a couple extra gray pieces that were pretty cheap because I need a lot more gray. But this is where we're going with things. I'm planning on having a watchtower coming up here. I'm really pleased with how this is turning out, so much more cohesive and just fluid and original. So that's the current progress. Getting the helipad landing base going. Gonna cover this in plates now. And boom, that was fast. Well, for you guys. Alright, so now that we've got that attached, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set our bat shuttle. It's what I'm calling this, even though it's a bat wing. We've named it the bat shuttle, simply because I didn't want to make another Bricklink order for the bat wing stickers. Plus, I don't really feel like it's 100% necessary. I kind of like the originality we got going on here. So I ended up changing the windscreen quite a bit, and this is completely modified. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It looks like, it would be able to land on something like this. I'm obviously going to make a giant helipad if I can of some kind up here on top. So this isn't the strongest, but it should be strong enough just to hold the top. And with that, I think that's gonna about wrap things up this week. As far as progress goes, I still have a lot to do. Still have to build this watchtower up. Still have to finish coating all this in. I'm probably gonna end up dismantling this whole wall and redoing it to where it's gray all the way across. Now that instead of it being hidden by bricks, it's going to be one of the main visible walls, kind of like these walls here. So we're going to completely redesign that one. Obviously, it'll be covered with rocks up to about here. So I'm going to fill this one with rocks. I got to finish this side with rock. I got to finish this in with rock. And then I have to finish all this in with rock. I'm not going to do the back. I think this is just going to be kind of a front display now. I'm debating on going up another floor on the right over here. And so hoping to make that possibly taller. We'll kind of see. My goal is to make it taller than the building on the left, just to kind of give it some height. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put in that. It might just be a facade. At this point, I'm kind of running out of ideas for interior rooms. If you guys have a specific room or idea that you guys would like to see in those rooms, leave them down in the comments. Let me know. What should I put in those rooms? Because aside from a couple more cell chambers for the aforementioned prisoners that I still haven't made cells for, I'm really at a loss as to what I could put in there. So let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time.